Hey everyone, how you all doing? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming my December TBR. So I don't often film TBRs, I kind of just do them either seasonally or just for really exciting months, and I personally always find December very exciting. It is my favorite time of the year, and I have a lot of books that I'm planning on reading this month. Is it realistic? Absolutely not. Do I actually think I'm gonna get through all of these books? Probably not. I'd really like to, but I guess we're just gonna have to see what happens. But yeah, I have a hefty pile of books here. So to start off, I have two very large books, which is why I'm thinking that this is not a very realistic TBR, because these books are massive. So the first one is Cursed by Marissa Meyer. I'm actually currently reading this. I was supposed to finish it in November and I just didn't get around to it. So I'm currently on page 105 of this one, but if you don't know, this is the sequel to Gilded by Marissa Meyer, which came out last year, and this one just came out at the beginning of November. I'm not going to go into descriptions really in this TBR since I do have so many books to talk about, but the series is kind of like a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. It's really interesting. It's not my favorite series by Marissa Meyer, unfortunately, but it's still enjoyable, and I think that the ending of the first book really set up an interesting plot for this one, and we're just kind of getting into it now, so I'm very excited to kind of see where it goes and see how this duology, I believe it is, wraps up. So I'm hoping to finish this over the next couple of days because it is like almost 500 pages, so a bit of a hefty book to start off the month. And then the next book I was actually supposed to read in October and I didn't, so then I was like, okay, I'll read it in November, and then I didn't. So I guess now we're gonna try December. But I'm gonna be real honest, it's not a huge priority for me, but it is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the sixth and final book in the Mortal Instruments series. So basically my friend Lisa has been hosting the Shadowhunter read-along all year with her friends Darian and Casey, and I've been kind of low-key participating, really only reading the Mortal Instruments books with them, and this was their October book. I do want to read this so I can watch their live show, but I don't know when that's going to be. But yeah, this book, obviously gigantic, so I don't know. I do find Cassandra Clare's books to be rather easy reads. The font is quite large, they just don't take that long to read, but just looking at it really intimidates me, and I have so many other books that I want to read so badly that I just don't know if this one is a huge priority, but I would like to get to it, so I thought I would mention it anyway. Okay, and then I have a few books that I'm planning on doing a reading vlog for. For the beginning of fall, I did a start of fall reading vlog where I just read a bunch of books that reminded me of fall or gave me fall vibes, and so I thought I would do the same thing for winter. So I picked out a stack of some books here that I think could potentially give me winter vibes. I don't know if I'm going to read all of these for the vlog, I guess we'll have to see, but I do plan on starting this as soon as I finish Cursed by Marissa Meyer. So the first book here, which is the one that I'm not quite sure if I'm going to include in the vlog just because I have absolutely no idea if this has winter vibes at all, but it's Emily of New Moon by Ella Montgomery. So Ella Montgomery wrote Anne of Green Gables, which is one of my favorite books of all time, and I feel like those books work for literally any season. Like, I'm pretty sure it covers every single season and it just works for any time of the year, so I'm kind of hoping that this one's the same, and I'm just kind of going for like the cozy vibes. You know, I feel like classics also kind of give off winter vibes just in general. So yeah, I don't actually know if this one has anything to do with Christmas or winter at all, which is why I'm kind of on the fence about including it in the vlog, but I do believe it takes place during the school year, so I'm assuming it's going to take place over winter at some point. And I've also just been really wanting to get into other Ella Montgomery books because I've only ever read the Anne of Green Gables series, so I am hoping to read this one. I have the physical book obviously, but I also have the audiobook on hold if I do choose to go that route. Maybe I'll read it physically along with the audiobook, I'm not entirely sure, but hopefully I'll be able to get to this one this month. Whether or not I'm going to include it in this winter vlog, I have no idea, but I'm kind of excited about this one. I really hope that I love it because I do want to read more of this author's books, so I guess we'll just have to see. The next book is one that has been on a couple of TBRs this year, I feel like, definitely one of them, and it is Witchwood by Tahara Mafi. This is the sequel companion to Furthermore by Tahara Mafi, and this one obviously gives me winter vibes. This whole entire cover is just very frosty, it's got snowflakes everywhere. I don't know if the actual book has winter vibes, but the cover definitely does. So I wanted to read this back in May for middle grade May that I did with my friend Alyssa, and I just never got around to it. So I've been kind of waiting to see when I could get around to it this year. It is also on my 2022 TBR. So a few of these books on this TBR are me attempting to finish that yearly TBR, so I guess we'll see what happens, but this one I'm definitely really excited for. Also, as I'm filming this, we have not picked our December book for the book club that I co-host with Alyssa. I just put the poll up literally right before filming this, but this is one of the options for the book club. So obviously if it's the one that wins, I'm going to have to read it, but regardless, I want to read it anyway. So I really have no idea what this one is about, like literally at all. The only thing I know is that our main character washes dead bodies for a living. I know literally nothing else, but just on that alone, I am sold. And then the next book, I also don't know if it has winter vibes. I'm not entirely sure, but it's also on my 2022 TBR, and it is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This is his sophomore novel. I really enjoyed his book Cemetery Boys, and I just for some reason have never gotten to this one. This was on my fall TBR, I believe, and obviously I didn't get around to it, although it technically is fall, but like there's snow outside, so it's winter. But I really want to read this book. It's like a reimagining of Peter Pan of sorts, and it just seems really good, and I don't know, just the colors on the cover give me winter vibes, so I'm hoping that I can read this book for that vlog and read it in December. And then this next book, one of my friends recommended I read it for this winter reading vlog, and it is By the Book by Amanda Sillett. So this is one that I've actually had on my radar for a very long time and have just never picked it up, but it deals with books, and so that, you know, gives me winter vibes. I don't know if it actually takes place during winter. I think my friend said something about like winter activities, but that could have been a different book. I honestly have no idea, but regardless, I wanted to read this book at some point anyways, so this kind of feels like the perfect opportunity to do so. I know nothing about what it's about though. The next two books are for another reading vlog that I've honestly been working on since, like I've been planning it since last summer. Started filming for it last December, and I still have not finished it, so I've been really slacking, but it's my which booktube friend knows my reading tastes the best. So I've been trying to work on the next episode in that series, and I honestly don't know how much longer I'm going to do that series for, but I have two books here. So I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. It's taken me a really long time to get this book from the library. I've had the audiobook on hold for so long, and I believe it's still like a 6-month wait. So I put the physical copy on hold at my library, and it finally came in recently, so I desperately need to get to this one because I don't think I'm going to be able to renew it, so I need to read it by December 28th. So hopefully I can do that. I've heard really amazing things about this book. It's obviously like a murder mystery. I don't know much beyond that, but it is a short book, and I find mystery thriller books really easy to read. They're quite fast paced, so I'm hoping to really love this one and to read it quickly. Basically my goal for this month is to just read a lot of books in one sitting, which I should be able to do, hopefully. I don't know. But the next book for that reading vlog is Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. This one has been on my TBR for the past few months and I cannot tell you how many times this book has renewed at my library. I think it's been 4 or 5 times. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I would like to get this book out of my house since it's not my book. I don't own it. So I would like to be able to return it back to the library so other people can read it. So like I said, this is another book for that reading vlog, and I need to get to it. It is a short book, so it should be a quick read. I just for some reason haven't been able to get to it. Okay, and then the other 2 books that are on my 2022 TBR that I've yet to get to, I also really need to read. The first one is Chasing Lucky by Jen Bennett. I desperately need to get to this one, and I don't know why it's taken me so long because I absolutely adore Jen Bennett's books. I've loved every single one of them that I've read, and this one looks like no exception. Like I don't remember like off the top of my head what it's about, but I know that I'm going to love it. So like when I put this on my TBR for the year, I thought this was going to be like one of the easy ones that I could cross off, but now we're in December and I still haven't read it. So I'm really hoping that I can pick this one up and read it. And then the last book I believe on my 2022 TBR that I've yet to read is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. This is the first book in I believe like a companion series of romance books, and I own the first 3 because I found them at the thrift store for really cheap. But yeah, this one's like fake dating to a wedding, which is like one of my absolute favorite things. Like fake dating alone is my favorite trope of all time, but then when you fake date at a wedding, it just adds like this whole extra fun element to it. And there's actually a movie I love called The Wedding Date, so it just seems like a recipe for a really great time, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. I absolutely need to, so hopefully I can get to this one as well. Again, it looks like a super quick read, so it should not take me very long to get through. This is definitely one of the ones that I'm hoping to read in a sitting, so hopefully I will be able to do that one day. But oh my god, I think I'm setting myself up for failure with this TBR because it is so massive. So the next book is a reread, and it's a book that I typically reread every year, but for some reason I just haven't read it yet this year, so I'm putting it on the TBR. But I think I'm not going to make it a huge priority considering I have so many other books that I need to get to. So this one is just going to have to be on like the back burner if I have time or if I really want to read it, because I know I can read this one in a sitting, because every time I've read it in a sitting. Like, I've literally found myself incapable of not reading this book in a sitting, so I have high hopes. But it is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This was like one of the first adult romances that I read. It's definitely the one that kickstarted my like love for it recently, and I feel like I read it at least once, if not at least 2 or 3 times every single year since 2020, I think. And so I don't know, I've been kind of missing it. I want to read it. I know it's not like a perfect book, like there's definitely some weird things in it and the writing is not always the best, but there's just something about it that just has me so charmed and in love. So I really miss this book and I really want to reread it. So then we have another little ambitious pile of books. I'm only going to show you the first one because it is the first one in a series and I don't feel like holding up all of the books, but it is the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. I was supposed to read this in the fall time and then I didn't, but I really want to reread this series because I haven't reread it in years because of the whole pandemic. You know, this book deals with the plague. It was a little bit too close to home, so I wasn't ready to read it, but now I feel like I'm ready to read it and I just haven't read it. And another super fun thing that I want to do is I want to annotate them, which is going to take extra time. So I'm really nervous about these, but what I'm kind of hoping to do is like read one of them and then read a really quick book, read another one, and then read a really quick book to hopefully like break it up a little bit, because especially Winter, the last book in this series, it's like over 800 pages, so I'm anticipating that these could take a little while to read, especially since I'm annotating them. That kind of always adds a little bit of extra time to the reading experience, but it was like one of my goals this year to reread this series, and so I would really like to. So I'm really hoping that I can get that done because I've been hankering to do a reread of these, and I was going to do it last month. I just didn't have the time, but I absolutely adore this series, so hopefully I can fit in a reread of it. And then I have one more book to talk about before I kind of get into all of the Christmassy books that I want to read this year, because I have a lot. But that is Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. This is Matthew Perry's memoir that just came out recently. If you did not know, Friends is like my favorite show ever, and he plays Chandler Bing, who is one of my favorite characters ever. I literally named a cat after him, so there's that. And I've been really anticipating reading this memoir and learning about his life. Okay, so kind of starting off with the Christmas books, I'm gonna go through some of these fairly quickly because I feel like I talk about them every single December. So I feel like you don't need to hear me continue to talk about them. But we have The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This is kind of like a Christmas Carol retelling. It's a super fun book, a super fun concept, and I absolutely adore it. It was on my TBR last year, but I did not get around to it. I like started it and then I ran out of time, so I just didn't finish it. So now I haven't read this book since 2020, which feels a little wrong. So I would really like to do a reread of this one. It's one of my favorite Christmas books to read every single year. And the next book is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. This is my favorite adult romance Christmas book. It's so much fun. It's like a Groundhog Day situation, but with Christmas. And I also reread this one every single year. This is also one of our options for the Besties and Books book club for this month, so I'm really excited to see what people pick. But regardless, I do want to read this book this month. I'm obsessed with this romance. It's so cute and fun and cheesy and corny, and it's just the best time. Again, I think I can read this one in a sitting, so hopefully I can squeeze this one in. Then the next two I have, one's Christmassy and one isn't, but the first one is A Convenient Christmas by Jodie Holford. I read this one for the first time last year and really enjoyed it, so I figured why not read it again this year. It was a super quick read. And then there's like a companion book, Lessons in Love, and this one is super short, and so I figured why not just throw this one in there, reread this one. It'll be a fun time. And then I'm gonna be doing like a Christmassy holiday reading vlog like I typically do, so I have 3 books for that. So the first one I think I found when I was like googling like holiday wintry books, and this one came up. So it's One Way Way or Another by Kara McDowell. All I know about this book is our main character is really bad at making decisions, and she's trying to decide between going to a romantic mountain cabin with her best friend and also longtime crush, or going with her mom to New York City, which is a place she's always dreamt about visiting. And then she magically gets to go down like two parallel paths, one where she chose to go to the cabin, one where she chose to go to New York. I don't know, but it sounds like a super fun time. This cover is adorable as well as the back cover, so I'm really hoping that I love this book. And then the next two books I'm literally so excited for. So the first one is A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. But this book just sounds so amazing. I love Julie Murphy. I've yet to read any of her adult romances, so I'm really excited about that. I haven't read any Sierra Simone, so I'm hoping that if I love this one, it'll force me to kind of want to pick up her other books. But all I know about this one is like a very basic premise. So it's about our main character who's a porn star, and she accidentally gets cast in a Hallmarky type of Christmas movie. I believe with like her longtime crush or something. Yeah, childhood crush. And he's an ex-boy band member. I'm so excited for this. I think it's gonna be such a fun time. I need to read this ASAP, and I hope that I'm obsessed with it because I feel like I already am. I am so excited. And then the last book on this TBR, and that I'm also going to be including in that Christmassy reading vlog, is How to Excavate a Heart by Jake Maya Arlo. So this one I actually believe deals with Hanukkah and also Christmas, maybe. The cover is gorgeous, super wintry looking and just super festive, so I'm very excited about this one as well. I think that's going to be a super fun and festive vlog, so it's going to be a great time. But those are all of the books that I'm planning on reading in the month of December. I'm currently looking at the two very big piles of them on my floor, and I'm feeling incredibly intimidated. So I guess I gotta end this video and go get some reading done. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below a Christmas tree emoji if you watched till the very end. But also let me know some of the books that you're planning to read this month, because I'd really love to know. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!